Hi, Natalie. So I just pushed it to live stream. So I'll also be your TA. So if you could make me a co-host. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
If you
it's
need
done.
anything, just tell me, okay? Maybe.
Sure. Yeah, Kim, just
Okay.
can you just make sure that if they're not asking a question, that everyone's muted, because otherwise we get some background noise and
Okay.
that. And if they do ask a question, if they put a question in the chat box, can you let me know? Because I might not see it.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Carol Sue, welcome back. I've missed
Good
you.
morning. How are you? New studio?
No, we just flipped around. Right?
Oh, that's all?
Exactly the same room. We've just got new block out curtains behind us. So we've turned the camera around and we're able to now film in towards our
It
balcony.
looks much better.
Yeah, that's what we thought too. So it looks like it's more spacious, right?
Yes, it does. And your poor husband.
He's gone. He wanted to do it this way so he could go into the kitchen and he could go in and out the front door if he wanted to. So that's why.
But it looks so much bigger.
It does, doesn't it? It's no bigger at all.
And you got new lighting.
Yeah, same lighting, all of that. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, welcome back. So all right, welcome back, Jackie, as well. Welcome, Christine. Oh, how do I say that? Dania, I'm sorry if I have mispronounced your name.
It's Dania. Thanks for having the class.
Dania, okay, great. Therese, Dolores, Robin, you're all here. Betty's coming in. Marlene, Harold, welcome. I don't think I've seen you before. Jackie Brown, another Carol. Oh, Carol, you've been here before too, I believe. Alice Kendrick, you have also been here. Welcome back. Janet, Doris, Robin, there's people coming in. So welcome to everybody, whether you're already in, whether you're just coming in now. So glad that you are here. Christine, we love your background that you've chosen. Hopefully it's warm as that. Isn't that warm?
I used to live in Hawaii, but I'm in Seattle. I don't have this background really.
Oh, I have been to Seattle. It is not like that in Seattle at all.
And not today either.
I was so excited the first time I went to Seattle. It was like late June, and I'm like, I'm going from my winter. I'm coming into your summer. I'm like, yay, it's going to be warm. And it was the same temperature there as it is here at home.
And where are you?
I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do love your background too.
Okay. Well, this is my home. So yeah. Thank you. All right. So who have I missed? Muna, Cynthia, welcome, welcome, welcome. Jody and Sandra. I think if there's anyone else I've missed. Oh, Betty, you've come in there as well with your camera. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Alice, are you trying to say something?
No, I was moving around something.
Okay,
Thank you.
no worries. Yeah, I see that, the little highlight comes up on the screen. I think, oh, someone's trying to say something. So, yeah. Christina, lovely to see you there as well with your camera on. So, welcome. All right. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to start sharing my slide. Oh, Cynthia, have I already said thank you for your camera on? All right, let me just share my slides with you now. There we go. So just to let you know that this is shoulders, a movement class. It's all about moving our shoulders. So let's just make sure that you've chosen the correct class that you wanted to be in right now. So welcome to this. Yeah, so what we'll be doing is we'll be moving our shoulders all the different ways. And I want to specify right from the start that there's a lot of movement going on. That there will be a lot of movement happening in your shoulders throughout this class. So if we have done too much, just take the time, rest as long as you like, take as much rest as you like. You might just prefer to watch and get some pointers that way, or just do a few repetitions and then rest, whatever works for you. That's the most important thing. You're the boss of your body and you know how you're feeling. So please take the time to take care of yourself. A little bit about me. This is me. I'm Natalie W. I am in Melbourne, Australia, and it is now 8 a.m. Just a little bit of context, right? If I stumble over my words, I haven't been up all that long. So anyway, we will do the best that we can. I've been teaching some form of movement since 2001 when I ended up in a yoga teacher training course in India. And from there, it moved into Pilates, and then I wanted to do some strength stuff, personal training, something called restorative exercise. I've done so many foot workshops, it's unbelievable. And I just love to learn. And I also love to share things that I've learned with people, well, like yourselves, right? And the whole idea is to help keep you independently active throughout your lives. And I try not to take myself too seriously. So we can have a little bit of a laugh. You're more than welcome to throw some comments out there. I won't take offense if you're making a bit of a joke at my expense. That would be fine. If you are new to Get Set Up, right, ideally we learn from each other here. This is the whole idea. It's learners learning with other learners and from other learners. So in an ideal world, you'd have your camera on so we can see you and you can see each other. If you're not comfortable with your camera on, that's perfectly okay. That's fine. You can keep it off and do what you need to do. If you enjoy the class and you'd like to do it again, you are more than welcome to request a recording once we're finished. All you need to do for that is to email help@getsetup.io. So if you are joining by live stream, this class is live streaming. It'll be on the Get Set Up TV. You're unable to ask any questions. So the best way to participate is to join us by registering for the class. And that way you're more than welcome to unmute yourself. So I'm happy for you to do that. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. You can interrupt me at any time. If you're not comfortable speaking, you can type a question in the chat box. And I have asked our wonderful technical assistant, Kim, who is also with us now, to let me know that there's a question there or to read that out. So I can also answer questions that way. But Get Set Up are not paid to promote any specific product, so I won't be selling anything to you while you are here. One final note on my slides here is to please check with your doctor if you have any issues right before starting any new exercise program. Right? Nothing that I'm going to be saying here is medical advice. Right? I'm a movement professional, so if I have suggested that you do something that is contraindicated by your medical practitioner, please take their advice over mine. Right? Again, they will know your body much better than I will just by teaching this class. So I'm going to stop sharing those slides right now, and I'm going to put myself on the big screen. I think I'm already spotlighted actually, so I'm just going to do a speak view so you can all see me if you can't already see me. Oh, just a further bit of advice if you have any technical challenges. So Kim here can help you out with those. Please type those. Oh, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Kim can help you out. Type those questions into the chat box. So let's get started. Oh, props. That might be handy. I'm going to be using a yoga strap. most of you probably do not have a yoga strap handy. So you can use a scarf, something like a scarf. This is my local team football scarf. You can use a t-shirt or something that's rolled up, something that you can take your arms. You want your arms sort of at least this wide. I have like a jumper here. I could use that instead. So just something that you can use to pull on in your arms. A lot of these activities can be done standing. You could also be sitting. I have a chair sitting over there. You could be using a chair as well. You can see it on that. We will be doing a few exercises on the floor. So you might want to have a mat. I don't actually have a mat today. I'm quite comfortable lying on my carpet here. All right, so we'll be lying down. If that's not an option for you, chair variations will be given. And then finally, today, I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to come over here. This is the only door. I'm going to be using a doorway. Now, I've got a sliding door here, and I'm going to be doing something like this where I'm just holding onto the inside of my door. You can hold onto a door handle or any other thing that you can grip on, and I'll go a little bit over that when we get there. It's not going to topple over if you put some weight on it. Right, so a door frame is ideal, or a door handle you could hold onto, but we'll go a bit more over that when we get to that point of the class. And again, if something's not going to work for you, skip it. We won't be spending too much time in any particular exercise. So let's start by doing what we call shoulder flossing. So you're going to get whatever it is that you have to hold on to in your hands, and you're going to take your arms out wide. You're going to pull on your strap, and I'll just call it a strap. So whatever you have, let's just call that a strap. And you're going to start to raise your arms up. Now, we're all going to go wherever we can. If you can only take your arms up this high, that's as high as you go. If you can take them all the way up and over your head, you go there. If you can keep going all the way back behind you, you take it that far. So can you find the range in your shoulders? And we're starting off with this exercise, which might feel quite extreme, because at the end of the class, if I remember, we're going to come back to it and see if we've got more movement, or if this is easier to do, or whatever's happening in our body. All right, so you're going to reach up. Maybe you go further. Maybe you go overhead. All right, and check in. What is this feeling like? You see how my arms, I'm trying to keep them straight. All right, that's what we're aiming to be at. It might be that you're here. This is what I see a lot. You know, and that's fine. This is where you're at right now. Right? If you did this every day, what would happen? Would you get more movement, do you think? I'm just going to do 2 more times. Would you be able to do this easier now than if you were doing it like a month ago? Who would know? And the only way we're going to know is by trying and by doing. I have a lady that's been coming to class with me for years. She's in her 80s, and her movement is probably about this high and back down. But you know what? We're really happy that she can come to class and she can do some movement. All right, let's release. Let's have a little wiggle around through the shoulders, and then do a bit of a shrug. Shrug them up around your ears as high as you can and drop them. And do it again. Shrug on up and drop. And shrug and drop. Do a few more of those. Just let them go. What we're doing is we're creating tension, and then when we're releasing it. Sometimes we don't know when we're holding on to tension. Back to the strap. I'm going to reach out in front of us. Take it on up towards the ceiling again, or in front of you, wherever you can take it. Now this time, it's a rotational movement through your shoulder blades. I'm going to just take our arms over to one side. Now, you see I'm trying not to move my body. I'm just trying to move my arms. And then back on up, and then over to the other side. Right, so I'm not bending at this stage. I'm just moving my arms. So if it's more here in front of you, that's where you are. Right, over to one side and the other way. Right, maybe they're more here, one way. And what happens when you do these movements? Are you breathing as normally as you can? Are you holding your breath? And like I said before, if I've done too many repetitions, just stop, rest it out for the next exercise. I'm going to go 2 more times each way. Right, when we do new movements, we tend to hold our breath. And we want to let that go. All right, release. Maybe give your fingers a little bit of a wiggle. Now, shoulder rolls. Can you draw your shoulders up around your ears, up as high as you can? Can you keep them as high as possible and start to bring them back behind you, right? You're pulling your shoulder blades together as you keep them high. Now keep pulling them together and push your shoulder blades down towards the floor as far as they'll go. Now, we're going to pull our arms forward. The shoulder blades go wide. They stay as far forward as they can go while they're down. Then they lift back up again. Right, so this is as big a shoulder roll as you can do, right? Back, down, 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 and forward, and up, and back. This is a lot of work. You're going to try and find the biggest movement through your shoulders here that you can get. When I have shoulder days like this, I kind of feel it for the rest of my week. Now I'm going to reverse together and up and down in front and back, and up and forward and down and back and up. Now this could be the smallest movement for you. Remember what's okay for your body. Up and then once again release. How do your shoulders feel now? Okay, we're going to get the strap now behind our body. Now, I'll just show you, my palms are facing forward, so I'm holding my strap forward and my hands are about shoulder width apart. What I'm going to do here is put a bend in my knees and I'm going to lean forward into a forward bend and I'm going to start to lift my arms up. I'm going to see if I can get my arms vertical. Right, so my hands are reaching up towards the ceiling. Now, what happens here? A lot of us have our arms here, the straps on our back. You might be able to lift it a little bit. You might be able to lift it a lot. You might need to get your arms up to the ceiling, take your hands wider apart, just slide them out on your strap so you can lift them up. Can you experiment with that movement? What do you have to do to raise your hands and your strap away from your back and up towards the ceiling? You might be really flexible and be able to go somewhere over here, right? But we're aiming towards the ceiling. And bend your knees so you can even maybe rest your belly on your thighs, let your head hang, give it a bit of a nod. Just notice where you are. If you want, you can move your arms, you can roll them from one side to the other. Again, you're paying attention to what your body will allow you to do. All right, don't sort of try and push through pain. You might experience a little bit of pain. Make sure it's not that sort of sharp stabbing pain. All right, but it might be some sort of kind of stretchy sort of pain-ish. Again, you're the judge. All right, let's rise back up again, all the way. Okay, we can just drop that strap. I've done some little pictures to prompt myself what I've planned for the class, and if I'm looking at one, I'm like, what is that? I can't work out what it is. We're going to let our shoulders go a little bit and do some neck rolls. Now I'm just going to come in a lot closer just so you can see that. All right, so we're going to make circles with our head. Can you take one ear to one shoulder? Right, that's my left ear to my left shoulder. And I'm going to just now nod my head forward and then turn around and go over the other shoulder and lift my chin up and roll back. All right, now, if this is too big a movement, think about just the tip of your nose doing a little circle in space. So you're going to find the roll that feels okay for you, or it could be a bigger circle. So I'm going to take my head in as big a movement as works for me. Right now, over I go. Okay, and as you do that circle, notice, what are you feeling? What's going on here? All right, often I get this kind of click, 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 click going in a part an area of that circle. I'm going to go one more time one way. So I'm experiencing a bit of a stretch through the side of my neck. And it doesn't feel the same all the way around. It feels different. Now, let's reverse it, go the other way. I'm doing it relatively slowly. You can do these movements slower, you could do them faster. Right? There's no right or wrong number of repetitions. I also think it's time for a haircut. For me, it's going all over the place. No, either that or to tie it back. One more circle. And then when you finish, lift your head back up again. Pause. What does that feel like? It's always nice to check in after doing a movement and see how you feel. Right, I'm going to get back up again. And then from here, let's go with our arms. We're going to reach them on out. Now, see if you can spread your fingers out and have your thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling and reach out towards your side walls. From there, can we rotate our arms forward? So you're getting your thumb to turn down towards the floor. And then we're going to rotate them backwards. My picture's going in and out. There's no change in lighting. Autofocus, I think. All right, let's go around and forward, thumbs down towards the floor. And then thumbs forward and up. And they're going to go back. Now, this movement, we can just sort of turn our hands, right, one way and the other way. We want this movement to come right from the shoulder blade. So the entire arm, I'll exaggerate. Everything is rotating forward, right? So I'll sort of go forward a little bit and then everything is rotating back, right? My entire arm and shoulder are going forward and they're going back. All right, round forward. Let's see what kind of movement we can get there. And this is called internal and external rotation through your shoulders. Back and two more like this. And then let them go for a moment. And now I'm just going to sit back a little bit so you can see the whole movement. I'm going to take one arm and I'm going to reach up to the sky. Now, again, if this is not okay, it's more in front of you. Reach up. I'm going to let my shoulder hike right on up. See how I'm stretching? I'm losing my hand even on the screen. Going to lift up nice and tall. Now I'm going to bend over, do a bit of a side bend. I'm going to reach out through my arm. I'm going to come on back up again and let my arm come right back down by my side, right, just with the bent elbow. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to reach up and I'm going to let my shoulder lift up as high as it goes. And then I'm going to add a bit of a sideways bend. Again, are you breathing? Come on back up again and let your arm come back down. One more time. Reach on up through your arm, through your shoulder, and then take a bend over to the side and come on back up again and release. And we'll do the other arm. Does it feel different? Right, other arm. This is my left arm. I'm going to reach. I'm going to lift my shoulder blade up and then over I go. Right, and then come on back and bend. Right, so remember, it might be more a reach out in front. Lift on up and go over to it, sideways bend, come on back up again, and then back down. One more time, reach on up, reach. Over we go to the side, come on back up again, and then release. All right, back to the arms, in and out. This time, right, my thumbs are pointing up to the ceiling again. I'm going to have one thumb turn forward and down, and the other one turn backwards. Right, so one arm's going one way, the other arm's going the other way, and I'm going to switch. And I'm going to switch, right? One goes inwardly, one goes outwardly. Switch. Switch. Do a few more of these. Right, and it's moving. You see my upper body's just sort of going, bending a little bit one side and then the other side. Two more of these. All right, let your arms go again. Let's give the shoulders a real rest by doing what I call a roll down. And if you come to my classes regularly, this one you pretty much do every day. Let your arms hang. Maybe put a bit of a bend in your knees. It can be a little bend, it can be a big bend. If you prefer straight legs, fine. Nod your head. Now, let your arms just hang. Can you let your head round forward, your head and neck? Your arms are dangling. This might be as far as you go. If you're seated, you can be doing exactly the same thing in your chair, right? Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Down you go. This might be as far as you go. You might be able to come on all the way down. Maybe your knuckles even scrape the floor. Who knows, right? You come to wherever you can go. The key is here. What I want to do is just let your arms dangle so you don't have to even think about holding them up at all. Give your head a little bit of a nod. See that you can let your head go as well. And then round and roll back up to standing. Can you keep letting your arms dangle? Can you keep letting your head hang? And then at the end, you just simply lift your head up. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So nod down again. Let your arms dangle. All right, just come to where you can. This could be it. You could keep going. Right, you want to feel okay about what you're doing in your own body, right, in each and every moment. You know what the main thing is? You showed up. You turn up the class. You're going to do what you can. And you know what? That might be that you're just watching it. Right, and then round and roll back up. All the way up. And then one more time. Nod your head. You know, because the fact that we're all in these human bodies, right, it means that we're going to experience different things. And there will be pain and there will be all sorts of things that happen throughout the course of the life. It will be a very unusual person that never experienced any pain or any challenges or some sort of difficulty somewhere in their body, right? Pretty much unheard of. Something always happens, right? And round and roll back up again, all the way to standing. All right. Now, earlier I mentioned a doorway, right? Or something that you could hold on to. If you don't have that right now, maybe we can sort of think about an action, the same sort of action that's going on. You might have to take yourself further away from your camera right now. I have a sliding door here. I'm just going to open it. We want something that sorry, you're going to kind of lose my feet, that you can put your hand in and hold on to. If you are outdoors, you can use poles and things, you know, always really handy when you're waiting at a stop sign or something. Now, you're going to hold on. You're going to lean into the center of your room. So your arm now is supporting your body weight. If you're feeling really strong, you can take your feet closer. See how I'm leaning out at an angle? I know you've lost my feet from view, but the closer to the wall or the door your feet are, right, the more you'll be on this leaning angle in towards the center of your room, and the more weight your arm has to support. Right, so I'm just going to do a little hang. So I'm holding on here. I'm hanging with my body weight. And you can either stay in this position, or you can start to do what we call like a little pull-up. You can bend your elbow and pull yourself towards your door and then lean back out again. All right, so like I said, if this is not right in the realm of possibility right now because of where you're situated in your room, just have a little bit of think of this. And when you are in an area where you've got something to hold on to, have a little play with this. Right, so it's like a little bit of a pull up. You know, if you're hanging from a monkey bar and people do like these chin ups, it's this kind of action, but it's not as strong, right? You just sort of, right, your feet can be further away. You can just hold on and you can pull and reach on out. So if you are lucky enough to have this available to you right now, right, give it a try. Now, you can also hang and you can try just maybe turning your body in towards the wall, maybe turning away. You can experiment with different grips, right, with different ways of holding your hand or your arm, right? It can be up higher, it could be down lower. All right, that's a lot on the one arm. Right, now sometimes if we've got one doorway to hold on to, it's hard with the other arm. It's going to be completely different, right? I have got a little bit of a door jam here. So I'm going to try the same with my other arm. Right, start with your feet further away from your wall, your door, lean into the center of your room. You can just hold it there. If you're feeling stronger through the arm and shoulder, you can walk your feet closer towards the wall. I'm scared I'm going to slip off here. I've got a very little grip with my fingertips. All right, so we're leaning. If that's okay, you can start to bend your elbow, pull your body towards your door, and then lean back into the center of your room. Right, and bend your elbow, pull in towards the door, and lean away. Right, so if this is not an option, you can just think about reaching out and pulling back in, reaching out and pulling back in. I also thought you could maybe pick up whatever you have here, new strap, and pull up onto it. You could step onto it with one foot and pull or push away. It's kind of the opposite direction, but it's still something that you can do anywhere, anytime. And I'm sorry I've taken so long to get to this right, with the door, because I only remembered it then. I'm lying in bed this morning thinking, what can I do if people don't have a doorway handy? You can find different directions with your arm. Right, so all ideas to think about. Maybe after the practice you can remember them, or maybe you get the recording of the class and that will prompt you to give it a try next time you are somewhere appropriate to do this movement. Just going to close that again so you can get a bit of view. Play around a little bit longer. And then release. We'll come on back to either standing or seated, wherever you are. Take a moment there. Check out your shoulders, what's going on to you here. Okay, so on that vein, I'm trying to do this every week. We're going to play with our shoulders, what we call protraction, retraction. Reach your arms out in front of you if that's okay. Keep reach out as far as you can. And if I keep reaching, can you see my shoulder blades come forward? They go wide on my back. They're reaching out wide on my back. And then I'm going to keep my arms straight and I'm just going to pull my arms back. My shoulder blades will come towards each other. Right, so I'm going to reach forward to where it's called protraction. The shoulder blades go wider. I'm going to pull my arms back, retraction, right? They're retracting towards one another. Right, so reach out in front, draw your arms back. Right, so my arms stay straight. No, I don't know if that makes a difference from behind. I'm reaching out. Right, maybe my t-shirt goes wider and I'm pulling back in. Maybe it scrunches up. I can't see that, so hopefully you can see something there. Pull back. I'll do a few more of these. Two. And last one. I'm going to end out wide. I'm going to try and just lift my arms up again. Right, we did it before with a strap. Just lift your arms up and just see where you can take them by reaching forward and out with your arms. Right, where do they want to go? Can you still breathe? Right. I'm trying to do this without any back bending, without anything else there going on. And I'm going to slowly lower my arms all the way down. Okay, now we're going to get ourselves down onto our bellies on the floor or on your mat. So come on down. If you can't come on down onto your belly, you're going to sit in a chair, and I'm trying to work out how to do this. All right, we're going to try and you're going to get your strap, right? Wherever you are, you want your strap. You maybe can sit on the end of the chair and maybe your arms come down here and you're just going to hold on it behind you. Now, if that's not a possibility, and I'm just explaining this while everybody else, those of you who are coming down onto your belly are getting there. If you're seated and it's not a possibility to take your hands behind you, we're just going to hold onto your strap, you're going to pull and you're going to lift up in front. So that's going to be an alternative for those of you who are seated, right? Now, if you are on your belly, come on onto your belly. If you need some support for your head and neck, you could put a pillow or something underneath your forehead. But what we're trying to do is take a look down to the mat. So your head is lifted, but it's not lifted and looking forward. We want to see if we can get the back of your neck really long. So we're going to look down to the mat and your head's just up off the mat. So already here's a bit of work in your neck. If you're seated, if you're sitting on your chair, see if you can find that space in the back of the neck. Then we're going to grab our strap and we're going to bring it behind our back with our arms reaching down towards our feet. Now we're going to start with our palms facing down towards the floor, which was the position that when we were standing earlier and we were holding onto the strap and we did that forward bend, that's how we had our hands. My hands are about shoulder width apart. So with all of this going on, we're going to keep this position, pull the strap apart and start to try and lift it away from your back. You're going to lift up towards the ceiling. Lift, lift, lift. And it might be the tiniest lift. It might be a big lift. It doesn't matter. And then lower gently back down. So remember, if you're seated and if this is not possible behind you, can you do the same thing out in front of you? All right, again, pull on the strap and lift your arms up wherever you can. I've got quite a bit of movement in my shoulders here, so you don't have to be right this high. You might be higher, right? And then lower back down. Now I'm going to do it again. This time, as I'm lifting my arms away from my back, I'm going to lift my body into a little bit of a back bend. So I'm going to lift up off the mat and then lower back down. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to pull and I'm going to lift on up. And I'm holding my breath, so don't do that. And lower back down. Let's try that one more time. Let's lift on up. And again, I was holding my breath and lower back down. Okay, release the strap. Get your hands, press yourself up and back and come sitting down in what we would call a child's pose. You might prefer your arms by your side. Maybe they're overhead. Take a moment here. Have a little bit of a wiggle around. Come on up onto your hands and knees. Spread your fingers on out and just start to move around. Just start to shift your weight on your hands, your wrists, and your shoulders. Right, we're putting some body weight on our hands and wrists. All right, so if you're seated, that's going to be kind of impossible unless you can lean onto one side and put some weight on one hand that way, right? Or alternatively, we'll give you a little bit of a stretch. All right, we're going to take an arm on up, bend your elbow, and just press back onto your elbow with your other hand. A bit of a tricep stretch. Okay, that might be nice to do. I'll hold that for a little bit. If you can lean onto one hand, though, do that. Right, we're having a little play around here if you're on your hands and knees. Shift your weight back, turn your hand position, right? My fingers were forward, now I'm turning them out to the side a bit more and shift around. If you're seated and you're doing that stretch, switch your arms, do it on the other arm. We're wanting to get stronger wrists, hands, arms, shoulders. This is one way of doing that. I can come further forward. You might be way back here. Your wrist could be really tender, and this is not a great thing for you to do. But if that's the case, take the weight right back with your bottom and just put a little bit of weight on your hands and wrists. Okay. If you're here on your hands and knees, we're going to come on back to our belly. If you're on your chair, back to grabbing your strap again. Now, just while you're coming onto your belly, last time we had our palms forward behind our back. This time we're going to turn our palms up towards the ceiling. So you're going to come to your belly. We're going to grab your strap again. We're going to set ourselves up in the same position. And I'm lifting my head a bit so you can hear me. Right? We want to look down to the mat. So the back of your neck is nice and long. My palms are up. I'm gripping my strap. I'm trying to pull it apart. I'm going to keep my feet and my pubic bone down. And first my arms, I'm just going to lift them away from my back up to the ceiling. And remember, if you're seated, you might be reaching out in front of yourself instead. You pull on the strap again. You can turn your palms the other way as well for a variation. And then lower your arms back down. Again, just your arms, lift up, away from your back, up towards the ceiling, and then lower back down. How does it feel when your arms are turned a different way? Maybe you add your back bend in now, lift your arms on up, coming up, lift, 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 and lower back down. I can't stop holding my breath. I hope you're still breathing when you're doing this. Let's go again. Lift your arms, lift on up with your upper body. Maybe this time, as you lift on up, you might choose to lift your legs up off the mat too. Right, lift on up, lift your arms, lift your upper body, lift your legs. Up we go. Pull on the strap, hold a little bit longer, keep breathing. And then come on all the way back down. Release that strap. Bring your hands back to the mat. Come on back again into a child's pose. If you're seated, give yourself a hug, right? Give yourself a hug, right? Try and hold your shoulder blades. You could even do that if you were here. If you're in child's pose, if you prefer, you want to sit on up and do that. And then if you're seated, undo your arms and go the other way. Now, if you're down on your mat, we are going to come on over onto our backs. And this is one of my favorite things to do for the shoulders. It's called the windmill. If you're seated, I'll hop on up in a moment and to show you just sort of a version that we can do there. But if you're down on your back, right, our aim is one leg's going to reach on out long on the mat. You might want to prop something underneath your head. Lift your other leg up to this like 90-degree angle. Now, this is my right leg. I'm going to take my left hand onto my right knee, and I'm going to roll all the way over onto my left side. So my right knee is coming down onto the floor, and I'm going to keep my leg down like this. So my body, I've rolled onto my side. I'm not trying to stay on my back. Again, right, you might want something underneath your head. You don't want your head kind of hanging here, and you've got to really strain your neck to hold it up. So pop a pillow or something underneath your head. Lift your right arm. If you're on your left side, your right arm's lifting up to the ceiling. You can translate this to your other side. Now, I'm spreading my fingers out, and I'm having my thumb pointing in the direction of overhead. Now, that arm is going to reach overhead. Now, again, you're finding the range that you can do. My thumb will actually touch the floor. Yours might go nowhere near the floor. That's okay. But overhead is going to be 12 o'clock. Now, behind me is going to be 9 o'clock, right? Because I'm on my left side. If you're on your right side, it'll be 3. And I'm going to just circle my arm around with my thumb pointing down towards the floor as best I can, back to 9 o'clock. So it's a quarter of a circle. Right, so now my arm's reaching behind me towards my curtains, and I'm going to reverse it, and I'm going to come back overhead to 12 o'clock. Like I said, now I could pretty much keep my thumb touching the mat or the floor as I do this. That is not possible for a lot of people, right? Maybe your arm only comes here. So in that case, you're just going to reach it back behind you and then up again, right? So you find maybe it's here, right? Back. It could be the smallest little move. It could be, right, a big move, but it's a quarter turn. It's from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock and then back on up again, right? So if you're seated, keep going if you're lying down on the mat. If you're seated, you want to experiment with that range here while we're sitting. So your arm can be out in front of you, start to take it up, right? Maybe you can take it back behind you, right? And again, it's your range. It might be you're going to reach more out to the side. Right. Keep your body like relatively still. It's going to twist a little bit, let it twist a bit, and then forward. Right, so it might be up and back, and then up and forward. Right, so again, wherever you are, it's the movement that feels right for your shoulder, for your arm, for your shoulder. Now, when we're doing this, often we find little sticky points where it's like, oh, my arm is stuck here. It doesn't want to keep going smoothly back and I'd have to lift it up and go over something. You might just want to hold it there in that position, right? And just let it stay there and let it rest and let the weight of your arm give yourself a bit of a stretch in that position. And just breathe. You might prefer to keep moving your arm. You decide what works best for you. I'm starting to get pins and needles in my fingers, right? Apparently that's a sign that maybe I should move it. Come on back. I kind of get them quite easily. Now, I like to finish off with a big circle. I feel like, oh, my arm wants to do that big range. I'm going to go a full circle all the way one way, and then I'm going to reverse it and go the other way. Right. So if you're seated, you're just going to experiment with the movement of your arm. And then release. Let's flip on over and do the other side. So I'm going to turn my back to you just in case you weren't sure what I was doing with my arm behind me. So I'm going to come on back. I'm going to move a bit forward so I don't run out of space. Right. So now it's my right leg stretched out. I'm going to lift my left leg, grab my knee with my right hand, roll it across my body. Right. So I'm rolling onto the right side of my body. Remember, pop something underneath your head if it's just hanging there in space. Take your left arm up to the ceiling. My thumb is pointing overhead. And then I'm going to go overhead. And again, right, I'm relatively mobile, so I can get my thumb to touch the floor. So now, this is still 12 o'clock. Behind me now, it's going to be 3 o'clock. Right, oops, it's coming off the floor. Right, see, different. My left arm doesn't move as easily as my right arm does. Right, so it's going back behind me to 3 o'clock. And then it's going to go overhead again to 12 o'clock. I'm trying to keep my thumb pointing down towards the floor. Now, again, that might not be possible. Your arm might be the other way entirely. You're going to move it in a way that's appropriate for your arms, for your shoulders, right now, in this moment. You might come back to this tomorrow or in a couple of days or next week and feel something completely different going on in your arm and shoulder. That's the way of the world. Our bodies are going to move really depending on what we've been doing with them throughout the day and the week and the year. Right? And they're going to kind of show up accordingly. Right? Hopefully, if you're seated, that's making sense and you're able to do the other side. Now, if you find a spot that you'd like to just stay in that position and hold that position, let's just do that. Hold for a few breaths. I'm really reaching out with mine. You can even let it flop if you prefer. I like to kind of, for want of a better word, maybe engage my muscles. I'm going to really reach on out because I personally feel that feels good for my body. I like to feel like I'm working, right? When I'm working kind of exercise-wise when I'm doing these things. You can always do these as slowly or as quickly as you like. And then I'm going to finish off because there's my pins and needles coming in again. I'm going to do a big circle all the way around. One way. And I'm going to reverse it and go the other way, all the way around. And then I'm going to roll over onto my back. And then, like I mentioned before, for the people that were in their seats, so you're going to repeat this, we're going to give ourselves a hug. So I'm going to reach my arms out wide and I'm going to hug myself. And I'm going to try to reach for my shoulder blades. I'm going to try and maybe pull them apart. I'm not pulling them apart really, but I'm going to try and grab the inside edges of my shoulder blades with my hand and give myself a nice big hug. Bit of a squeeze. So I'm thinking about my shoulder blades going wider apart from each other. Bit of a squeeze here. Breathe. I'm going to let them go and wide with my arms, and I'm going to go the other way. So my other arm comes in top, and this is my odd grip for me. This is an odd way of having my arms. If I ever hug myself, it's always with my other arm on top. I'm reaching for my shoulder blades again. My shoulder blades are going wide. I'm giving myself a bit of a squeeze. I'm going to try and keep breathing as normally as possible. And then release. Oh, take a moment there. If you're seated, just let your arms dangle by your side. Okay. So I'm going to come on all the way up to standing. If you're on your mat and you don't feel like getting up all the way, you can end up seated. That's fine. If you're sitting on your chair, perfect. All right, I'm going to come on up. You can also stand, but we're going to remember at the start, I said we started with the flossing this over our bodies. Let's see if we can do it again, and let's see if after all that movement we've made any changes, and it might be a bit easier. So whether you're sitting on the floor, whether you're sitting on your chair, whether you're standing up, pick up your strap, your stuff, whatever you have, take your hands wide, and let's give it a try. Right, let's go up, right? Maybe you can go over and back. All right, whoops, come on up and in front. Right, how does it feel now? Right, same, different, harder, right? You've done too much work and you're going, oh, I don't like this at all right now. What's it like for you? You can have a little play the side. Maybe you can go up, ooh, around, right? Maybe you're feeling more open to having a little experiment with a, what would this be called? I don't know, like a rotor, some sort of other windmill. Does that feel doable? It might be here somewhere. And then go the other way. I don't know if I'm going the other way now. Did I change directions? I'm not sure. Maybe I did, maybe I did. Two more. Last one. All right. And then let that go. Let your arms go again. One final neck stretch. I'm going to come in a little bit closer so you can see again. So I'm going to just simply drop my ear to my shoulder. That's more than enough. You don't have to do more than that. You can take your hand over your head. Oh, it's gone darker again. You can use a little bit of your arm weight to, don't pull on your head, just let your arm weight, let the head pull a bit more to the side. You can reach your other arm out to the side, maybe turn the palm up. And if you move your arm just really slowly around into different positions, you might find a point or part where I've got to push it back a little bit, where you feel a bit more of a stretch in the side of your neck. And that's going to be very individual. Every one of us will have a different position with that arm where we feel a little bit more in the side of the neck. Okay, good. Now, to get out of there, get your hand underneath your head and push your head back up again, and then we'll do the other side. Right, so your ear comes to your shoulder. That could be enough. If you like, you could bring your arm over, let your arm weight, maybe pull your head a little bit more. Oh, that's a good stretch for me already on this side. I don't even need to use my arm, but I'll just show you. You reach your arm on out, turn your palm up, move your arm around somewhere. I'm just really reaching it on out to the side. Okay. Are you breathing? Are you holding your breath? All right, we'll let that go. Get my hand underneath my head to push it back up again. Maybe even a quick roll. Ooh. Okay, not as easy as it was before. I think that stretch is maybe not so good to do the rolling right now. I'm going to go the other way. Right. And then right on back up. So I think that might be about enough for now. I'd like to open up to any questions that you may have. Does anyone like, you can unmute yourself or you can type them in the chat box. Let me see what's there. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Kim's put some links up to my other classes in the chat box. So if you don't want to miss any of those, it's like 3 little dots on the bottom right hand side of the chat function there. You can click on those and there's a little prompt that says save chat. Yeah, you can click on that and you'll get the whole chat with the links there. That's available to you. But having said that, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask or comments that you'd like to make about the class? Feel free to unmute yourself or again, type in the chat box. Nothing. Oh, good workout. Thank you, Jackie. All right. Lovely.
Great class.
Okay. Thanks, Jody. Thanks for the thumbs up, Sandra. That's lovely. And I can see some smiles, Betty. Lovely to see. And Christine. Yeah, excellent. All right.
Natalie, can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about what you cover in the foot class?
Okay, the foot class, very, very foot centric. So we use a little ball, like a tennis ball, for a lot of the class, and we stand on it. So we do a lot of movement where we just stand on the ball, we'll roll around, we'll roll our foot on top of the ball. We'll do other things like, lifting our heels and lowering and lifting our toes and lowering them down, walking around a little bit, and some stretches. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So yeah, Wednesday, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow, just like half an hour earlier than this one.
So you need to have one tennis ball.
Yes, you need one tennis ball or something similar to a tennis ball. Try not to have something that's too hard. Yep, that looks good, Jody. Yep, perfect. But yeah, squishy, excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome. Thanks, Eddie. All right, let me
No,
just-
I really enjoy these classes. Thank you.
thanks so much for joining.
Thank you. Have a good day, Natalie.
All right, you too. Thank you. I'm just going to share and do my finishing slide for those of you who are still here. Feel free. It's okay. We're done. If you've listened to this plenty of times before, okay, that's fine. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. If you are on social media, we'd love it if you would share your experience. So you can use the hashtag #GetSetUp. The app Get Set Up as well, or you could send the lovely Liz an email about your experiences in class. She likes to blog about them, and she can be found at liz@getsetup.io. Right, so I do have a foot class tomorrow. The following day is a core and stretch class, and the final one for the week for me is called supple spine. Right, all of them the same sort of pacing, the simple exercises that can have quite a good effect on your body, and also a hips class that I did yesterday. Alrighty, so when you sign up for class, you will be asked to either recommend this class to a friend. I will be sending you a very brief email with some suggested classes for you that you might also enjoy. You're also prompted to give us some feedback about this class. Will automatically be set to 4 stars. Feel free to add an extra star if you really enjoyed it, or if you wanted to take a star or 2 away, you can also do that. But if you take stars away, I really do ask that you give me some feedback as to why. That way we can change things around and do things that are more appropriate for you. Right. So when you are registering for class, you'll be prompted also to invite a friend. It's more fun to do these things with a friend, right? If you have your cameras on, you can see each other, you can wave at each other, you can see what each other are doing, or you can just know that they are there, even if the camera is not on, they're there and they're doing something with you, and you might even want to chat about that after. So you're prompted with a little button there. You can see them highlighted on the desktop version, and also on the mobile version. Click on that and you'll be sent a link to share with a friend. Finally, we'd love it if you share, get set up with an organisation that you're a member of. It would be great if we could get this out to more people. That way we're able to give some more offerings. If you like, if you feel like being on this side of the camera, you could post an interest group, or you might have other suggestions for other classes. That would be good for you. No, it might not just be good for you, but be good for other people as well. So all of that, and if you would like a session recording, please send us an email. The email address is help@getsetup.io. Right. Anything that you need help with or suggestions, anything, email that address and somebody will be with you to help you out with that. I'm just going to stop sharing my slides right now and just be open for anything final that anyone would like to add. Nope. Okay, so thank you again so much for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure. I hope you get something out of that, and I would love to see you again soon. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay.